In 1963, $350,000 could buy you 1.6 million loaves of bread, or 714,286 gallons of milk, or 18 houses, or you could pay for 3,500 students to attend the University of Texas. In 2001, $2 million could buy you 1 million loaves of bread, or 1,052,632 gallons of milk, or 9 houses, or you could pay for 162 students to attend the University of Texas. Both sums of money, adjusted to today's inflation rate, are identical. I don't know where I'm going with this, other than to say inflation sucks, money is made up, and nothing matters. We watched It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and Rat Race.
The French champagne.
Can you tell me which members of the Reservoir Dogs you two are currently dressed as?
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Classic.
Classic Spielberg.
Classic Spielberg.
He needs to kill 94 different 65-year-old men over 2.5 years because those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Shake it. Shake it.
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is... Money is made up.
Yay!
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Yay. Yay. That's why we don't do this podcast for money. Because we don't believe
That's why we don't do this podcast for
That's
money.
the only thing holding us back.
Only reason.
Bail me up.
I get messages every day asking how can they fund us? You know, how can people individually fund us? And I say, well, write your letter, send 30 box tops in with your $20 bill.
everything you've been sending to our Patreon, we have just been pouring down the virtual drain. We just invested in Bitcoin. There's nothing there. It's gone.
Yeah.
So hi, welcome to Citizen Kane Versus. This is a podcast apparently where we compare a movie that's more on the classic side with a movie that's more on the schlocky side, and we ask ourselves honestly, which is better. My name is Jack Rennie, and I'm joined by my two friends, a
Sean Jacqueline.
and the other.
Daniel Benoit.
Whoa!
Who also starred in one of these movies, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, Sean.
Hey.
Oh boy, and this week these movies were pitched by Sean.
Hi.
Thank you, Sean,
You're welcome.
for the what could have been almost 6 hours of viewing time, but luckily one of them had a shorter version. The longer cut apparently was not. Would you say it wasn't approved by the director?
The longer cut was it was pieced together years later. It was supposed to be the original release, but the producers in the studio slashed it down to what we saw, and then the full 3.5 hour cut was released like in 1990 or something.
Thank God.
How was there more of this movie?
Right?
It needed to be cut more. It needed to be an hour 40 movie.
Yeah.
This movie has a fucking intermission. There's no space for an intermission
but boy,
in a
does
comedy.
That third act just come on home at the end, right?
But they had already written that song, Dan. What are they going to do? Cut the intermission song? Like,
it's true.
That's
get
true.
yourself whatever you need and whatever that might be out in the lobby. Whatever the fucking...
3 minutes.
Yeah. Who says this podcast isn't entertaining? So, before we get into what these movies are, really quickly, we're going to do the thing, which is that to like and subscribe, rate and review, follow us on the things. We got an Instagram, we got a Twitter, we got a YouTube's, we got the... That's it,
Gmail.
Right? Stop bringing up the Gmail.
No.
Make sure to send us a Gmail and follow us on the YouTubes.
On the
30 box
YouTube,
stops to
send
the
your box.
Gmail.
Yeah, send your box stops to
Just open the CD tray, put them in, and close it.
Yeah, we're either Citizen Kane VS or Citizen Kane VS podcast on all the things. So you'll find us. Thanks so much for listening, regardless. And we I don't know, we're still looking for Carrie always. We've checked under the couch and in the spare bedroom, but he's not there. So if you know where he is, please tag him at hashtag come on Carrie, so we can get him on the freaking show, because he's playing it cool and playing it coy, but we know he wants to be here. So just help us nudge him along. That's it. I'm done with that.
That's a fun game, actually. We should encourage people to just like take photos of Carrie Elways out in public and like
be like, here he
tag
is.
us in the Twitter. Yeah, found him.
Spotted at this intersection. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start like a harassment campaign. Yeah, that sounds good.
No, thank you.
So Dan, because we've already started talking about them, do you want to give us some, as I call them, summarinos for these films?
Oh, do I ever?
Oh,
Oh, don't worry. That's the
Box
end of that
tops.
voice. I promise. All right. In the red corner, representing the classics, a quirky group of strangers turned crazed lunatics who race to find a buried treasure revealed to them in the dying words of a wanted criminal / terrible driver. Coming in at 159 minutes, starring most of Hollywood in the early 60s, it's a mad, 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 mad world. And in the blue corner, representing the schlock, a hodgepodge of greedy Vegas vacationers pit against each other in a race to New Mexico to recover a duffel bag full of cash for the entertainment of a bunch of old rich gambling addicts. Coming in at 112 minutes, starring Breckenmeyer and Whoopi Goldberg, Rat Race!
Breckenmeyer.
Breckenmeyer, when's the last time you thought about him?
I think he's supposed to be one of the leads of this movie.
He is. Oh, absolutely.
I
yeah.
think he is. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be a
Road
bit of a,
Trip
I'm gonna be a
was
bit of a-
99, I want to say, also with Amy Smart, Breckenmeyer, and Seth Green, I think, is in Road Trip. Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna make some kind of joke about like all the heartthrobs from the late '90s, but then there was like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter, who I don't know.
They're unattractive people? You're saying they're not heartthrobs, Daniel?
Not from the early '90s or the late '90s, maybe
fair.
early '90s. I'd say Whoopi was a
Maybe
heartthrob
early
in the early '90s.
I would say there's a lot of people like Breckenmeyer is pretty adorable.
He is.
Maybe he might
he's a
resent
cutie.
that term. He's 5'5". I wanted to look it up because he looks like a little
Yeah,
man.
he
but
looks every inch
he's-
of that 5'5".
But
yeah,
he's
and
super handsome. I
He's
gotta
John
say.
in Garfield. I think that's the last thing I
Oh.
remember him
Is
from.
he John in Garfield?
And there's no
Oh, I
other
could-
actor that could play John in Garfield.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like
the guy who
Bryan
played
Cranston.
Chandler. No, maybe actually.
Brian
but I would
Cranston
say
could play anyone, okay?
that's true.
He'd be great as John.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that played Chandler in Friends?
Matthew Perry?
Yeah, he could be the fucking John.
Yeah. He doesn't need
He's
your
more of
John
an
money, though.
uptight kind of guy,
Yeah.
isn't he? I feel like we're way off track already.
Way
So,
off track.
Let's get off Garfield. Both these movies are full of people. It's, as you say, kind of a who's who of like old timey Hollywood, and it's a mad, 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 mad world. And then it's like a who's that of Hollywood in like a who is that again in Rat Race? Aside from
Famous.
a couple like Whoopi
At the
Goldberg
time.
doing way too little for being clearly the biggest star in that movie, in my
Cuba
opinion.
was big. Cuba
was big.
then.
Yeah.
John Cleese.
John Cleese.
Was John Cleese big though?
Oh, yeah. John Cleese has been big since 1970.
Yeah,
Well,
but
then-
not like
Yeah, he's
a
not.
Hollywood celebrity.
Yeah, he's not Brad Pitt. He's not Brad
Yeah.
Pitt. But
He's not
if you watch,
soloing
But
movies.
but neither
like
was Whoopi Goldberg
No.
in 2001.
yeah.
No, but prior to she had.
Sure.
Meanwhile,
I mean,
Sid
let's
Caesar
not
in
forget-
1963. I mean, you talk about a career there.
I have to actually look up which one Sid Caesar was, so I know.
He
Yeah,
was the husband of the couple that get trapped in the hardware store.
That's Sid Caesar?
The dentist?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So these movies, they are both about people chasing a pile of money.
Correct.
And it's about other people getting caught up in that chase, that rat race, as it were. And it's supposed to be like quirky antics ensue. It's really supposed to be like the tone of these movies are pretty on the point with that. Like you can tell it's supposed to be like a Lucille Ball, Three Stooges-esque movie romp.
Both of whom
They both
essentially appear in these movies. Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
One literally and one figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do that, they do. And this is kind of the first time, Sean, you mentioned too, that these are kind of, it's a remake. It's not a remake. It's a rehashing. It's a reimagining for a new era. And Rat Race was really popular. I think I mentioned this. I saw it a bunch of times. I think my parents and parents of my friends liked it. It was a movie they thought they could put on for us, and I get that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Smash Mouth is in it.
Smash Mouth is in it. I will say I can't imagine watching another 50 minutes of It's a Mad World.
No.
My God,
should we break away into our structure?
Yeah, let's talk about story. Let's do it. Let's start our round. So, round 1, story good. The Citizen Kane of the week is